Welcome, everyone, to the Michigan Association of Secondary School Principals podcast series, featuring great discussions, insight, and resources on all things related to education and administration. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Season 4 of the MASSP podcast. My name is Ryan Casey, and today we have joining us the MiSTEM Network Computer Science Program Manager, Larry Wynn. Larry, thanks for hopping on the podcast with us today.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Hey, can you just start by giving our listeners just a little gist as to what is the MiSTEM Network and what do you do there?
Yeah, so the MiSTEM Network is a group of individuals all across the state of Michigan, and our charge is to help schools implement various STEM initiatives and to build up a STEM culture within our communities around our schools. But my job specifically is more about supporting schools implementing computer science, as well in the realm of developing tools and resources. But I also provide some program management for professional learning through the code.org work that's happening out there as well.
Awesome. So can you tell us then, Larry, what's new with computer science in Michigan right now, and maybe even touch on how the MiSTEM Network is supporting that?
Yeah, so the computer science work that we've been working on over the last 3 years, we've partnered with code.org, which is a national nonprofit, with their sole goal to get access to computer science into schools, getting schools to have these courses, as well as increasing the participation of women and underrepresented minorities. But the MiSTEM Network, along with Grand Valley State University, we've kind of taken on the role of the program managers to provide all the different communication that we need to do to the schools, as well as we provide the professional learning at almost a no-cost situation for the schools. And this professional learning is anywhere from a couple days to up to 9 days of learning.
And so through that work, Larry, can you just share maybe some things you're doing to support middle school and high school teachers and programming, as well as elementary?
Yeah, so let me start off with the middle school and high school. Right now, what we provide is 9 days of professional learning for middle school and high school educators. And we provided 2 different courses that they can implement into their schools. One being AP Computer Science Principles, which is a nationally known course. It's a test recognized by the College Board, as well as a middle school opportunity that helps them prepare for the high school course, or just gives them that opportunity at middle school. But both of these courses are full year courses, units 1 through 6 in both of them. And they provide this curriculum at like a low barrier. There's barely any resources that they need to make sure that they have. The cost is low to implement, and all these resources are available free on code.org's website. The teachers don't even have to go to the professional learning to have access to this curriculum. It's already there and available for them. But the professional learning we provide is giving them the tools and the resources in order to implement at a more high quality level.
Awesome. So hopefully principals or whoever's listening to this are going to share this information out, knowing that teachers have an opportunity to get some really high quality professional development at what will hopefully end up being zero cost to them, which is fantastic. So with the new CS standards that have come in for the state of Michigan, I actually had the opportunity to sit on some of the work group for that. How will that impact the work that you're doing then at the MiSTEM Network and even maybe through code.org?
Yeah, so having the CS standards alone, let me start off with the fact that having CS standards in Michigan is a huge step for us in our state. And it's a huge step to making sure that all students have an opportunity to learn CS. And so now that the standards are in place, schools are really starting to think, how do I implement computer science? How do I get this into my school so that way students at kindergarten level as well as seniors are having opportunities with CS? And through these code.org curriculum resources, they are able to start thinking about, okay, how can I use these resources in order to implement? These resources are able and available for me at no cost. And so just those resources being available is supporting especially our school districts that are focusing on other other core subjects. We're focused so much on math and ELA right now, as we should, and computer science can support those subjects, but having these resources in professional learning at no cost gives schools still the opportunity to teach computer science.
Absolutely. And I like how you said that in your answer too, Larry, that I think sometimes people think of computer science as this standalone one-off subject area that, has to be taught or explored its own separate entity, when really it's meant to support all of the content areas, as you mentioned. So math and ELA, we have a lot of focus on it, like we should. CS, there's so many examples out there too, where it supports those subject areas. So I think that was a really important point to point out.
Absolutely. And like the integration of computer science is the important piece. And to me, I see the code.org curriculum and the workshop as being a stepping stone for schools. I don't see it as an end goal for school districts. Mm-hmm. The curriculum and the work that they're doing within it is just an opportunity to start introducing other aspects, whether you want to get in various robotic type activities, you want to get in 3D printers, whatever it happens to be. This is just the opportunity to get started with computer science.
So moving to my next question, in your opinion, Larry, what work still needs to be done? So we finally have standards, but how do we really get computer science at the forefront of what we're doing in schools all across the state? Where is more work needed?
So I think the biggest work that needs to be done is just having schools figure out their implementation plan. And I know the state at the state level, we are figuring out what is a statewide implementation plan. But I think schools really need to start thinking, what does K-12 science, computer science look like for our students and for our teachers? And so I recommend that schools really start diving into that. What does their course structure look like? What kind of staff members they need to get on the books? And speaking of staff, right now, with the way that endorsements are working, all we need are teachers that have the ability to teach computer science. And so going through some of these professional learning workshops, getting some micro-credentialing, or going to the universities and getting some courses taken is what we need at this point from teachers. And we need to really be equipping all our teachers with the ability to integrate computer science and integrate computational thinking. And so if we can increase our teacher capacity, that is, to me, where we need to be going right now.
So to tag onto that last comment then, Larry, what are some simple solutions that schools can use to integrate the computer science programs and content, especially for schools that don't have, as you mentioned, teachers that maybe have that background or training already?
So my personal opinion is I would say start with something simple and easy. And to me, the code.org curriculum materials are very easy to implement and understand. The materials were actually built for teachers that have no background in computer science. So the professional learning, the curriculum resources, it was intended for those folks that this is their first venture into computer science. So I recommend teachers to start off there, to get their feet wet, to get started with something. And both our middle school and elementary and high school workshops provide them that opportunity. The middle school and high school is more intensive with that 9 days, but we do offer 1 to 2 day elementary workshops that gets their feet wet, gets them started with something, and gets them thinking about what computer science is and looks like in the classroom. Then they can start thinking about, okay, how do I integrate this into my math? How do I integrate it into my science? Until they understand what computer science is, it's going to be difficult to integrate it within those subjects.
Absolutely. Now, are you familiar with whether or not like Michigan Virtual offers any sort of training for teachers as well?
Yeah, so the Michigan Department of Education, as well as Michigan Virtual, they are working on developing a short, I believe it's a 3-hour online course for how to start integrating CS at the elementary level. Now, there's various organizations across the United States right now that are trying to tackle this exact same problem. And so if we can equip teachers with the ability to start integrating themselves, that's going to be the key. But I know for code.org specifically, they are already piloting some curriculum resources of how to integrate this into ELA, for example.
That's great because, I've been lucky enough in my work at MASSP to, research and reach out to, different organizations or groups or programming that has been related to computer science. And so I know me personally, I've stumbled on two that I think have been great solutions for schools that maybe don't have the resources or the personnel that maybe are experts, but certainly offer the opportunity for anybody, whether it be a teacher on staff in an unrelated content area or a parent even to be involved and to get trained and to help introduce this to students. So for example, actually at my child's own school, I'm the sponsor for Girls Who Code, which you do not have to be a coding or a computer science professional to do. I have a background in that a little bit, so it helps, but it really is meant for anybody to take the lead and to help provide some opportunities, in this case, to young females to have some experience in that area. Another one that I came across, I'm not sure if you've heard of, Larry, is the Cyber Patriots, which is part of the National Youth Cyber Defense Competition Series, which is again, a very, very low cost opportunity for students to see some computer science related content, in this case, talking about cybersecurity. And they get to do it from their own computer lab. There's free training and curriculum materials for the club or the sponsor. Again, it doesn't have to be your computer science teacher. And then what's even great about that system or that series is all the competitions are done virtually. So you can do this in your own building. So there's no travel costs. So those are a couple, just to piggyback on some of the ones you mentioned, how I think there really are some interesting, really economically friendly ways to help integrate computer science into schools, really. So moving on to kind of my last questions for you. How would you suggest that schools learn more about the MiSTEM network or code.org? You've mentioned a lot of great opportunities for them with some of the professional development over the summer and the scholarships. If they are interested in doing that, Larry, what should they do next?
Yeah, so I recommend that you visit our michigancode.org website that is going to provide all the opportunities that we are providing as the MiSTEM network, and that is the mi-coding.com. And so that's where you're going to get all the information about how to apply for workshops, where the workshops are located, how you can get access to scholarships for our big 9-day workshop. And if I could, Ryan, I just want to mention that the key that you mentioned with all those different opportunities, the Girls Who Code, the Cyber Patriots, all those different types of pieces, it really comes down to building teacher capacity. And when you mentioned that they're economic friendly, that's going to be the key for us, because what I hear from time and time again is teachers would not have this opportunity to learn about computer science if we're not providing it at an extremely low cost. And that's the reason why we're providing scholarships for pretty much all the teachers that would like to attend our code.org opportunities, because without those, our teachers in the rural areas would never have the opportunity to come down for a 9-day professional learning in Grand Rapids or in our Detroit area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Larry, I just want to say thank you for joining us on the MASSP podcast. I know you're a busy man. If somebody does have a question, maybe you spark some interest to our listeners, what would be an easy way for them to reach out and get a hold of you?
Yeah, so please reach out to me to my email. My email is winlar, so WYNLAR @gvsu.edu. You can also find my contact information on our website, the mi-coding.com. But feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about the code.org opportunities, or if you want more opportunities of CS around the state as well.
Awesome. Thanks again, Larry, for joining us today. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Ryan. Appreciate it.
And that'll do it for this episode of the MASSP podcast. We are humming right along with season 4. Remember, you can listen to this podcast and all others by going to massp.com/podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter @MASSP, or myself, Ryan Casey, RCAYCE. Thanks for listening and have a great day.